Hi everyone, this is Vicki of Muse and Means. Happy Wellness Wednesday to you. In this month of November, which ushers in our holiday season, we're looking at relationships. And it's my pleasure to introduce you to Dr. Ray Merck and Dr. Amy Montanez, who are going to give us some tips for how we can navigate this month of holidays and being around those we know and love with a little more ease. Enjoy.
Hi, I'm Amy.
And I'm Ray, and together we're Messy Marvelous, which is a blog that we started a number of years ago, and you can find us at messymarvelous.com.
Yeah, and the blog mostly talks about relationships with other people, with ourselves, and certainly love relationships. So today we're going to talk about being in a relationship with another person. And I think you all know that, or you've heard from everywhere, that communication is the key to a good relationship. But what does that mean? And so we want to break that out for you.
Right. Take a couple of things that we think are the most important. So the first one is to learn how to take personal responsibility in your communication and your relationship with another person. And so we kind of want to start with a question like, what do you do if you have really kind of messed something up? Because in a relationship with someone, I always say, if you dance close enough to someone, you're going to step on their toes.
Right,
so how do you handle that?
Yeah. Do you get defensive? Do you blame?
Mm-hmm.
Do you deflect? Do you leave? So we all have coping skills for when we've misbehaved or when we're caught. And so we'd like you to think about what your coping skill is when you mess up. That can be something as simple as saying you'll be somewhere at a certain time and not being there. It can be simple things, or it can be much larger things, like if you break someone's trust or overstep your bounds or something like that. So this applies to everything.
And they're important because one of the things that we know is that trust in a relationship is built in these tiny moments.
Right.
And so that's really important when you say you'll do something over and over again and then you don't.
Right.
So that is not taking personal responsibility, certainly.
Right.
The other key piece is how we talk. And a lot of people will start out to solve a problem by saying you
didn't
this.
show up on time.
You made me feel right.
Yeah, the media does that a lot. How did that make you feel? And I always want to smack them because it's a terrible question.
Right.
So we want to share with you a very simple skill, and it's called I statements. And an I statement is basically, I feel X
blank
when this happens, or when you do X. So
the key piece, though, is that first blank.
I feel.
And the important
or
part.
The story I'm telling myself is when you do this.
But that's different because that's a thought, a feeling. My point is that feeling is an emotion. You have to fill it in with an emotion, not like, I feel you did something wrong.
Right.
That's not what this is about. It's you fill in the blank with an emotion.
Right.
Now, the story I tell myself is another good one.
It's a good I statement because it lets someone know what's going on in your head. So let's model an I statement. So let's say you say you're going to be somewhere and you have let me know and you're, I don't know, half an hour late. And you don't text or you don't call. So I might say, I feel worried about you when you're not coming and haven't texted, or I feel unimportant, or I feel stuck. Like I don't know what to do with my time. I'm just kind of twiddling my thumbs waiting for you, and I don't like that. I'd like to be doing something productive. So when you aren't going to be here when you said you're going to be here, and I feel unimportant or stuck or whatever, that is not helpful in our relationships. That's an I statement. I feel X.
The story I tell myself might be, whatever you're doing is more important to you than me.
Right.
So that's owning
Yeah.
this conclusion
Yeah.
that you reach,
Yeah.
whether it's accurate or not.
So
Yeah.
practice your I statements,
Mhm.
and if you blow it, we're going to give you a very quick model of how to make a good apology.
Mhm.
We've been told to keep these videos very short. So this is going to be quick. How to make a good apology. Take responsibility for your behavior. No buts. So I know I didn't show up on time.
Right.
I understand that that frustrates you and worries you.
Mhm.
I am sorry and I will work at that.
Right. And it's not, I'm sorry that you felt that way about something. You cannot
Right.
apologize for
Right.
someone else's emotions. That's not taking responsibility.
Right. And it's also not, I know I was late, but the professor came in and told me I had to do this and that, and then I got all flustered. That can come later. That's in a later conversation.
Right.
Your explanation is in a later conversation. It is not a part of the apology.
Right.
The apology is crisp and clean and full responsibility. I know I was late again. I know I did not text you or call you. I know that that worries you, and I'm really sorry, and I'm going to work on that.
Right.
So,
So communication is key.
yes.
And stay tuned because I think they're going to have more of this.
Yes.